Alrighty, we've spent a lot of time talking about Celtic and Rangers, the old firm, over the past couple of weeks, but now let's turn our attention to the real derby, the only derby in Scotland that matters, the one that's still got passion, the one that's still got away fans, the one that everyone's talking about, the one that is the best striker in the league. Of course, we're talking about Lawrence Shankland, we're talking about Hearts, we're talking about Hibs, and we're talking about the Edinburgh Derby. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Football, and the Edinburgh Derby is the topic of today, and the Edinburgh News is the outlet of today we're going to be using. So, there's an article here, 12 out of contract stars that Hibs and Hearts could sign in the January transfer window, and I thought we'd look at this. I thought we'd go through it, look at each player and decide and give our opinion on whether we think that he could do a job for Hibs, whether he could do a job for Hearts, maybe he could do a job for both, or maybe the guy, straight up, is just shit and he couldn't do a job for anyone. Maybe the guy is a job, maybe he's a jobby. How about that? Anyway, this article is by Susanna Seeley, so I don't know, it must be some writer at the Edinburgh News. Right, we're going to look at it. 12 players that could be signed that are out of contract this summer by Hibs and Hearts. Let's go through it and let's see who we've got on this list. James Penrice. So, James Penrice from Livingston. Decent player. I think he's alright. Livingston left-back Penrice may look for a way of staying in the Premiership with his contract out this May. The 25-year-old is worth 450k. I think James Penrice actually would be a good signing for both Hibs and Hearts, and again, if Livingston are going down, I would say there's not that many players in the Livingston team that are worth signing. I wouldn't say they've got that many players that I would consider Premiership level, but I think James Penrice is one of them that could do a good job. He's certainly good enough to remain in the Premier League. I think the guy is better than the Championship, so I think he could do a good job for both of them. Up next, we have Callum Slattery, another player that's decent. Motherwell central midfielder Slattery will be available from May. He has 6 under-20 England appearances, but will not be remembered fondly by Hearts after he scored at Tynecastle in September. I remember that game. Motherwell destroyed Hearts that game. That was and his goals were good. You know, I think him and the other guy that begins with S. Name is totally just avoiding me right now, but yeah, no, Callum Slattery was very good in that game, and again, if he's available on a free, then definitely I think he'd be worth a signing, or at least a look at, from Hearts and Hibs. Up next, we have Liam Gordon, 27-year-old St Johnstone centre-back, is worth 500k and will be out of current contract in May. Yeah, again, another player that I agree with here. So far, I think this is a pretty good list. I actually signed Liam Gordon in a FIFA 23 rebuild series, and I was playing as Hibernian, and I signed Liam Gordon to that, so I think Liam Gordon would do a good job there. Obviously, he won a cup double with St Johnstone, although I don't think Craig Levein will want to lose him. We'll see. I think he'd be good at Hearts and Hibs. I'm not necessarily sure he would be a starter for either, especially not Hearts. Maybe he could get in the Hibs team. You look at Hibs' defence, and it's always been a bit rocky. And I don't mean Rocky Bashuri, I just mean rocky as in not that good. Hibs' defence has been a problem for years, and I think Liam Gordon would be a good addition to Hibs, so maybe one for the green side of Edinburgh to look at more rather than the maroon side. Right, let's go on to the next page then. So far, so good. That's a decent list that I think all these clubs could sign. Up next, we have Scott Tanser. Scott Tanser, could he be going to Hearts or Hibs? Known for his quiet yet diligent drive, Tanser's experience in Scottish Premiership could be invaluable to Hearts. The 29-year-old defender has played for both St Johnstone and St Mirren. I mean, Tanser's alright. I don't mind Tanser, but it's not the kind of transfer that would get the plums pumping, you know. It's just not Tanser to Hearts, just doesn't really do it for me. This is one that I'm not really interested in. Yeah, for me, it's a no. Up next, we have Bruce Anderson. The Livingston centre-forward Anderson could be on the lookout to remain in the Premiership. With his current contract, the club most at risk of relegation ending in May. Yeah, it looks like Livingston's going down. If Bruce Anderson wants to remain in the Premiership, then he likely is going to have to find a move to someone else. I'm not a massive fan of Bruce Anderson. I don't think he is a top player. I mean, the guy didn't cut it at Aberdeen. For me, if you sign Bruce Anderson, I think Hibs have got so many better attacking options than Bruce Anderson. I do. As for Hearts, I mean, we are a little bit light up front as a forward, especially if Shankland leaves. But, I mean, could you imagine if Shankland did leave and Hearts replaced him with this guy? That would be an absolute disaster. So for me, Bruce Anderson, decent player, can do a job for, I think, the lower end of the Scottish Premiership, but I don't think Hearts and Hibs should be looking at this guy. I think they can both do better, and I think Hibs are doing a lot better at the moment. They've got multiple strikers better than Bruce Anderson. Connor Barron is up next. Aberdeen's Connor Barron is worth 600k at 21 years old and has represented Scotland youth levels, including 3 under-21 appearances, and scored his first Dons goal in December 2022 against Rangers. I just don't see this move happening. I don't think Aberdeen would want to let Connor Barron go to Hearts or Hibs, just letting them go to a direct rival for nothing. Doesn't make any sense to me. Not that I'm saying Connor Barron's a bad player by any means. Not that I'm saying I don't think that he would be wanted by Hibs or Hearts. I just don't see this move happening. I think Aberdeen would be reluctant to let it happen. So, and I wouldn't be surprised if he gets offered a new contract by Aberdeen. Decent player though, no doubt about it. It's just unlikely someone moves from Aberdeen to Hearts or Hibs. Alright, up next with Kel Roos, Aberdeen goalkeeper, 31, is worth 650k, currently set to be out of contract at Pittodrie this May. I don't think this is going to happen, and I tell you what, obviously Hearts have got Sander Clark, they've got Craig Gordon. Craig Gordon is not going to be around forever, although I just don't think Hearts will be looking for a new goalkeeper right now. It's already difficult at Hearts because Craig Gordon is deemed the number one, but Sander Clark has got that position right now and he's doing a pretty good job. So I think it would be absolutely mental for Hearts to sign a third goalkeeper to contest that number one jersey, but I certainly believe this would be a great signing for Hibs. I think Hibs need it. I look at their goalkeeping options and they aren't great. Davy Marshall, even though he's younger than Craig Gordon, he hasn't aged as good as Craig Gordon. Davy Marshall has been pretty poor now, I would say, for the last couple of seasons. Hibs, I think, definitely need to upgrade in that position. Again, I just don't think Aberdeen will allow Kyle Roos to go there and go to a direct rival. I just don't see that happening, and I wouldn't be surprised if he stays at Aberdeen. He's a good goalkeeper. I like him. I think he's very good. I just don't think Hearts would be interested due to the fact they already have two good goalkeepers competing for the number one spot. Hibernian though, definitely. If he is leaving Aberdeen and he wants to stay around that level, then I think Hibs would be a great signing for Roos, and I think Roos would be a great signing for Hibs. So let's move on then to the next page. Up next we have Liam Kelly, Scotland international, another goalkeeper. A goalkeeper seems an unlikely contract option. Kelly is currently competing with Hearts' Sander Clark to become Scotland's third goalkeeper. He is worth 700k. Again, I just don't see him going to Hearts for that reason alone. He's already competing for the position at Scotland with Sander Clark, so I just don't think he's going to be going to Hearts to compete against Sander Clark as well. And then obviously you've got the Craig Gordon scenario. So I think Hearts will not be signing a top goalkeeper. But again, just like everything I say for Roos, I think this would be a good signing for Hibs. I think Liam Kelly is currently better than anything Hibs have at the moment. So yeah, no, for me, Hibernian, it would be a decent signing for them. Up next we have Blair Spittle. Spittle worth 750k. Has played as Motherwell's right winger since 2022 and has scored 7 Premiership goals for the Well. I think Blair Spittle's alright, and he's the player that I meant to say earlier. Him and Slattery did a number on Hearts earlier in the season. I remember Blair Spittle from his Ross County days, good player. And I think he'd do a decent job at Hibs and Hearts. He's probably not the kind of player that they want. I doubt Edinburgh fans are going to be jumping and doing handstands because they signed Blair Spittle. But I think he's a good player. Could be a good squad player for both Hearts and Hibs. Not someone that would be desperate to sign, but I think if they were signed, then it would be a decent addition, certainly, to the squad. Jan Danda, very good player. Hearts are actually interested in Jan Danda. They have been linked to him. They don't want to pay the extra money it would take to get him in January, though, so it looks like it's going to be a move that is going to have to wait to the summer. I think Jan Danda is a quality player. Anytime you see him, he gets the ball, he looks a step above the players around him at Ross County. Definitely think Jan Danda is capable of playing for Hearts or Hibs. Number 12, we have Ryan Strain, the St Mirren right back, 26 as a market value of 800k. The Australian international currently on the bench for the Paisley Saints after suffering a groin injury. I like Ryan Strain. I think Ryan Strain is a really good player, and I would be interested as a Hearts fan in Hearts signing him, and I think he'd be a good option for Hibs too. I think, Ryan Strain. I'm very impressed with Ryan Strain. I know he's had injury issues this season, and he's been a blow for St Mirren, not being 100% fully fit for the majority of the season. But I like Ryan Strain. I think he'd be a really good signing for both of the capital clubs for sure. And then I think we've got one more. If my maths is correct, there's one more signing to look at. Who is it going to be? It is Keanu Bacchus, another St Mirren player. No surprise here. The St Mirren midfielder is currently has a market value of 850k. The 25-year-old Australian international's contract situation may depend on his efforts in the Asia Cup. So a lot of Australian internationals and a lot of Australian players in general playing in Scotland. Bacchus, I think, would be another good signing. I think I've signed him in FIFA as well, to be fair. No, I think this guy would offer a lot for both Hibs and Hearts. But for me, St Mirren will be desperate to keep both of these guys. I know their contracts are up, but I think St Mirren will be putting contracts on the table for both Bacchus and Ryan Strain. They will not want to be losing those guys for free come summertime. So, yeah, guys, that's the list. Look, these are all decent players. There's no one on this list that I would outright say isn't good enough to play for Hearts or Hibs, or that they should refuse. And there's definitely some players I think that would be great additions, especially if you're getting them on pre-contracts. So, yeah, no, a decent list. Let me know, guys, what you think down below. In terms of who I think would be the best signing for both clubs, for me, I think Hibernian, it would probably be Roos, because I do think they need a goalkeeper. If not Roos, then I would go with Liam Gordon. And for Hearts, I'd like to see us sign one of the St Mirren boys. I'd like to see us sign either Ryan Strain or Keanu Bacchus. Anyway, guys, that's just me. Let me know what you think down below. I'll catch you in the next one. Being Fog Football. Thanks for watching, and peace.